Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment of the weekend show. Today we're discussing sustainability of made in Nigerian goods. As we all know, 4 years ago when the President Muhammadu Buhari government came into power, they started a campaign of made in Nigerian goods due to the dwindling oil revenues we had in Nigeria. So today on the program, we're talking about how far that campaign has come and what are some barriers that are hindering the consumption of made in Nigerian goods. We have joining us today on today's program.
We have with us in the studio Marcus Singleton, of the Chief Executive Officer of Singleton and Associates from the United States of America. Welcome to the Weekend Show.
Good morning.
We also have with us Taiwo Sotunde. She is the founder of Made in Nigeria Entrepreneurs. She's also a business strategist and a public speaker. Welcome to the Weekend Show.
Thank you very much.
And finally, we have with us Mr. Emmanuel Palmer. He is the CEO of Palmer Luxury Nigeria. Welcome to the Weekend Show.
Thank you very much.
Taiwo, I'll start with you. Price is one of the factors that are affecting consumption of made in Nigerian goods. Has this affected your business in any way?
Yes, a lot. And the reason for the prices that are quite high for making Nigeria product is because of the cost of production. Most of the raw materials used in this production are mostly imported, so it affects the price. By the time they do the cost of clearing, storage, and then get it down to Nigeria, so they have to factor it into their cost of production, and then they have their profit. And most of them, they don't even have much profit because they're trying to enter the market, because there's always this mentality, and there's this thing right now that made Nigeria products are very, very pricey. So most of them are even selling at a very low cost in compared to the cost of production. So they are not even breaking even at all. So we are trying to get to the market, but at the same time we also have to understand that we are in business to make profit. So most made in Nigeria entrepreneurs are not making profit, and still we are still complaining about the price. So if the cost of production is lower, I believe the prices will be affordable.
But there's also the case of some Nigerian creatives who maybe because they've grown their brand and they have big names, by virtue of that and their popularity, their prices now, on the other hand, become extremely exorbitant, for lack of a better word. And so why will I spend 200,000 naira on an item when I can get 5 of that when I shop online from the UK or the US and it's delivered to me? Let's hear from you, Emmanuel.
Okay. It is a very dicey situation, because many brands, many foreign brands, like to dictate their own prices, and that's because they've actually grown through, the process of being startup brands, whereby they have to go through the competitive state of the market. That way they sometimes don't even make enough profit. So on making that sacrifice, they eventually become price dictators themselves. So I feel like it is allowed for them to actually enjoy that monopoly of price.
I tweeted something the other day that there's no such thing as a product that's too expensive. If a customer tells you your product is too expensive, you're talking to the wrong customer.
Yes.
And I also talked about
They all
all the
agree,
entrepreneurs are like,
just
yeah.
Yes, it's the wrong market.
Then I also said that when you discuss price, you are discussing price due to the absence of value. If your product has value, you will fixate your discussion on value rather than the price. And if you're able to tell your customer or convince you actually don't need to convince your customer if there's value. You just have to find out if your product is valuable to them and that's your right customer.
That's correct.
So let me bring you in here, Marcus. What do you think of the quality of made in Nigerian products? Since I began this show, I've been wearing made in Nigeria. All my clothes are made by Oti Couture. Shout out Oti Couture. And she does a fantastic job. I wear her clothes because it has great quality. But I've seen some made in Nigerian products that really lack quality. They lack value to me, and that's why I don't purchase them. So what do you think about that, generally speaking, about the quality of made in Nigerian products, and what can we do to improve them?
Very good question. As an American doing business here in Nigeria, I find that when I look at Nigerian products and I look at international products, they don't match up. The quality isn't there. And I believe it's because a lot of times a lot of times in Nigeria, they shortcut it, the material. They shortcut the product. They source it from another place and then try to package it in a way so that it's more attractive. But actually, consumers are very smart. They know what they're looking for. They know the taste. They know the value that they're looking for. And sometimes when they see it, like, why should I buy this when I can go online, like you said, and buy something for far cheaper and have more? So I think the solution is that both the informal retail and the formal retail in Nigeria, they all need to look at themselves and say, okay, how do we maximize our profit while still maintaining our business and keeping our customers happy, so that the materials that we get, why can't we get our materials in Nigeria? Why can't the raw materials be done in Nigeria? Why do we have to bring it outside in? I never really could understand that. You know, when I go shopping or looking at things, I'm like, why is this product not being made in Nigeria? I'm sure Nigeria, you know, last week I was, did a keynote speak last weekend. I was talking about how Nigeria's problems and solutions are here. There's no need to go abroad or trying to figure out what to do. It's here, the materials are here. So why can't we manufacture, produce, distribute, market, and place those products in the position that it needs to be so that Nigerians will patronize it? And then the other solution is too, some of our celebrities in Nigeria should start wearing and eating and patronizing retailers who are Nigerian, made Nigerian products, and say, look, it's good. See, look at me. I'm wearing it. You too can wear it. And I think also the other solution is media should also be involved to say, look, so-and-so's product is available. Little PSAs, public service announcements from some media outlets should say Nigerian products are good. I think that's one of the solution.
The it's good for celebrities to support local brands, and a couple of them do right now. But what the businesses now automatically do is that the fact that Davido or Burna Boy or Ebuka has won this outfit, which ideally would have been say 60,000 naira, it automatically becomes 150 to 200,000. And then there's the root of the problem, which is the supply chain. When you go down to manufacturing, in Kano, they still make tie and dye materials. But all of us sitting here, as much as we were made in Nigeria, sewn by Nigerians, basically, the fabric isn't made in Nigeria. And so we talk a lot about diversification on this show. How do we fix that problem where we would actually accept the Nigerian-made fabrics and materials before even supporting it, Taiwo?
Okay, I feel it's a perception issue. Everybody wants to look like the people abroad. They want to look like foreigners, so we don't want to buy our own things. For example, the ajire. Not everybody is comfortable to wear ajire to work. For instance, I'm into the production of ties, so I do Ankara ties, Kente ties, but some people will be like, I can't wear them to work. It doesn't really look that nice. Can't you do silk? And to get silk in Nigeria, you have to to get original silk, you have to import it to get original, to make ties with it. So I think people should be open-minded to local fabrics, because if I'm to produce something from Adire and you don't buy it, I'm going to stop producing it. So we should be more receptive to these fabrics and materials.
Well, I feel a major topic that is being we haven't addressed here is infrastructure.
Yeah,
I was sorry, I was actually going to come to that.
Okay.
Because he kind of hit that, because I mean, just look at our roads, Nigerian roads. Look at I've gone by bus, I've gone by plane, I haven't gone by boat. Well, actually I did go by boat. So all of these things are barriers to getting materials to the owners who are going to manufacture it and package it. So yes, those are the barriers. Infrastructure is one. Our ports, getting goods in and out, it's a big deal. It's how you pay the fees, who you pay the fees. Or now after you pay the fee, you now got to pay someone else, and it's like and then of course the electricity and all of those things add up. But still, I still believe that those things can still be solved if Nigerians began to make their product here, raw materials, and begin to use the materials from the ground, and then do it like that. And instead of bringing it in, like she mentioned, importing it in, I mean, that's expensive to just
scale
do
up,
that.
yeah.
Back in the day, we had a very booming textile industry in
Yes, we
Kaduna
did.
State. And, you know, due to the unsustainability of everything that we have, today we don't have that. We have to import these materials. So, Emmanuel, What can the federal government do? Because the Buhari administration came in 2015 with this huge campaign of buy Nigeria to grow the naira. I think it was actually started by the Senate president then, Dr. Bukola Saraki.
Yeah.
And it garnered a lot of traction. A lot of people on social media were like, yes, we're going to buy made in Nigeria goods. And it just seemed to have taken a nosedive. So no one is talking about it now. People are still consuming international products. In fact, even thinking outside the box, the president recently mentioned that he was going to order CBN, which he's technically not allowed to do, but he's going to order CBN to stop releasing forex to people who wanted to import. Was it rice or
Milk.
Food
milk?
products.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some
Food products.
yeah,
I
some
think,
food products, and everyone was like, well, you can't technically do that. But anyways, you can see that he still has the agenda to promote made in Nigerian products and ensure that we're doing things to increase our revenues. So Emmanuel, what do you think about this? What can the government do? What's your advice to the government in driving a sustainable campaign and not just making policies that will never be implemented?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And for me to properly explain myself, I would love to use an example. And just like they have said earlier, if you take two products, like these two cups, for example, place them side by side. This is produced in Nigeria, and then that is produced elsewhere in a foreign country. You can easily always spot that this was made in Nigeria. For us to, before we can actually now go back into the textile production, what are the steps, what are the machineries that we use, that we're going to use to make this product so that they stand out differently from, the regular made in Nigeria products. Because it is very, very obvious today that every Nigerian product, is always looking inferior.
I beg to disagree. Look at Osasu. I
mean,
mean,
look
this
at
is
this
made
beauty.
in Nigeria.
Oh, TikTok.
Yeah,
Look at
literally-
Taiwo.
Yeah, I
Look at
literally
everything.
haven't shopped abroad from outside in about 3 years. So she does. I wear traditional fabrics. Even the suits I wear all made in Nigeria, Abuja, Kaduna here.
Yeah.
And the quality, besides the logo, is still great. I think there's a factory in Kano State that supplies Hermes and Louis Vuitton with leather, which they use for their bags. And so besides the quality, they can take at least 10 days to make an Hermes bag. And
True.
so when that's done, it's more about the effort put into the work as opposed to the inferior quality. So do you really feel that we're putting enough effort into our creative process and industry?
I don't.
Can I answer that question?
Yeah.
I feel like I've not even answered my question.
Yes, okay, so
Because you asked the question.
Yeah.
You talked about our own outfits. My only question is the fabric made in Nigeria?
that's an issue.
It's
Yes.
if the fabric was meant to be made in Nigeria, you can easily spot, that there is a problem, that this is still looking inferior. So I feel like these are still the things we need to address. As Nigerians,
Quality.
we need to improve the production process. Everybody wants to make their own stuff, and that's why, we believe that they go through the shorter route, but it's not really that.
You said it.
Well, what's your advice to the government? So I really want, because people are watching, so I really want them to be able to take away some key solutions from this program. So what would you advise the government in helping business people to promote the ease of doing business? A lot of people have so many talent in this country. I've seen, the most talented, beautiful artists, painters, musicians, tailors, everything in this country. But then again, the barriers to entry, the barriers to success, no power, no working, machines, and also the human factor also, the human resource also is a problem, lack of skilled staff, So what can the federal government take away from this conversation? What are some solutions that we can offer them, to ensure that entrepreneurs like yourself, have greater ease of doing business?
Okay. Firstly, we can actually produce our materials in Nigeria because, like you said, Kano, Kaduna, they produce. But then the ease of business is very low. So they want to produce, but then is there an enabling environment? Do they have electricity? Do they have what it takes to actually produce in large quantities to give out to Nigerians to start producing? That's one thing. So the government has to provide infrastructures for these people and support them because it's not easy to actually set up a textile factory in Nigeria. So let's say we have like 100. Obviously, I have to buy my silk or anything or a direct from them. But because they're actually very few and then they produce in lower quantities, so we just import because this one's economies of scale, so it's going to be lesser price. So we prefer to import. And there's some things that we don't produce. For example, say zip for your dress now. We have to import it. And then before we import it, it has to be like in large quantity. You see things like minimum of 1,000 pieces. And then to clear it can take like 30 days to bring that zip into Nigeria. So they have to produce in small quantities, and it's also affecting the price. When you can produce in large quantity, you have economies of scale to actually reduce your price. But then we don't have that in Nigeria. So they should just slow down on the barriers when it comes to importation and even exportation, because we're just talking about importation. To even export is another case entirely. It's not so easy to export Nigerian products as we think it is, because import is one thing. What about export? Okay, we import and when we put our creativity into place and we want to take it out there, we still have to go through a series of steps. We still have to tip somebody to give out our creativity to the next country to see what we are doing. So I think they should create an enabling environment, provide infrastructures, and then just reduce the bureaucracies. To import and export, it is just too much. And then storage costs, it will take a long time to store your product before it gets to the other country. And also, the roads leading to the ports are so bad. So this takes long days or weeks to get things done in Nigeria. So people are producing in small quantities, and these little things are actually affecting the price of products. So the government should try as much as possible to support the industries. That's what I can say about it. So they should just be supportive.
Go ahead, Marcus.
I agree with my sister. I agree with my brother. But really and truly, I know, like I said, I've been coming to Nigeria for more than 10 years, back and forth. And I've been through, 3 administrations, And firstly, I don't like to talk much about the government, other than I will say, I believe they already know what to do.
Which is?
Yeah.
Those things you just mentioned. I just believe in the government that they already know what to do, how to do. It's 3 things I mentioned last week during my keynote, which was implementation, execution, and then follow-up. A lot of times things start and it ends. You don't hear about it again.
Yeah. I think the problem is really the follow-up. The government.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you short.
Go ahead.
But the government, they actually do these things. They put in place soft loans for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I as an entrepreneur, even though I'm not a direct recipient of any of these structures, but I know a couple of people. And I know
the CBN Creative Industries Zone currently ongoing for entrepreneurs in the creative space.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Very few people have accessed it so far.
But how many people know? How many people know about it?
So I think it should be more about how many people know about it, because I do know some people who have actually accessed it. Maybe the process in getting it approved
maybe
becomes
tedious.
And again, it's people in place, because everybody wants to get the tip. Government says do this thing, and then you are coming to get the thing that government said you should get, and then someone is telling you have to go through this process or probably pay this person. So they should put people that have the genuine interest of Nigerians at heart in positions like that, like port authorities, custom and things like that, so that people, when they are genuinely passionate about these things, they'll make it easier. But because they are looking at their pocket first, they don't even care. When in Nigeria, what's their business? Are you going to give me something in return?
She just struck something in my heart. It starts with one Nigerian reaching another Nigerian. I agree the government should do more, but the people also should come together as one. And not say, okay, you do this, you do that. No, we're one people. Let's promote our own products. If the government doesn't do it, okay, fine. Let's do it ourselves. Let's go online. Let's go to social media. Let's do a social media campaign, Made in Nigeria campaign. We'll do shirts made in Nigeria. I'll put one in the back and then have kids line up, Made in Nigeria, and then kids are jumping up and down, rejoicing. That kind of announcement on media, online, print, that will just change the mindset of people. Like, oh, our products are really good, you know. And then foreigners like myself will come in and go, really? Okay, let's look at this cup. Let's, it is, okay. And then those kind of narratives will change the mindsets of people in Nigeria to buy Nigerian products. And then now you can start looking at, okay, government, we've done our part. Give us the infrastructure, give us the power, give us the roads, give us this so that we can ship our products abroad so they can buy it. You know, those kind of things.
And there's another thing, sorry to cut you short. The word of mouth is very powerful. Like you have a very lovely dress, but I don't know it's made in Nigeria. So I could just walk past you and be like, okay, probably she got it from Dubai or something. So how about telling people, because if you get something great, Nigeria, we don't talk about it. But then it's just a simple mistake. The whole world is going to hear about it on Instagram. You understand? So how about we promote them? You're wearing it, okay, it's made in Nigeria. Tell people, tell like 2 people, 3 people, 5 people that it is actually good, because people don't know. People just assume, okay, it's quality. It should be made in US. And some of it are actually made in Nigeria. So word of mouth is very, very powerful.
Because there's also the fact that Osasu can make something beautiful and say, you know what, I want to be the only person who has this design. Don't sell this to anybody else.
It's my blueprint.
I'm sure my stylist will be like, if they're paying well, I'm going to give it to them. That's a fine place to leave it. Marcus, Taiwo, Emmanuel, thank you so much for joining us in today's program. Don't forget, the key issues that we deduce from this conversation is that the Nigerian Ports Authority, the CBN, the BOI, Bank of Industry, the customs, we all have a key role to play in ensuring the sustainability of made in Nigerian goods. Also, the Ministry of Power Works and Housing also plays a very key role in this, encouraging young entrepreneurs like this to promote their businesses and ensure that it is a success. We'll take a short break right now. When we return, more on The Weekend Show. Don't go anywhere.